welcome to another episode of NASA Science Live. I'm your host, Megan Cruz, and I am so happy you could join us here live from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Believe me, you could feel the excitement in the air here as NASA prepares to launch Lucy early tomorrow morning. Lucy will be the very first spacecraft to study the Trojan asteroids, which orbit the sun in two groups, one in front of Jupiter's path and the other behind. It will take 12 years to visit 8 different asteroids. That's the most destinations of any space mission ever. And you might be wondering, why are we studying asteroids? Asteroids are truly pristine remnants of a time when the planets were forming. This makes them prehistoric treasures that hold the lost tales about the origin of our solar system. And the more we study them, the more we can decipher how life came to be. And Trojan asteroids are particularly fascinating. Throughout the show today, I'm going to meet up with some special guests who can tell us more about the Trojans. But in the meantime, this might be helpful.
What are the Trojan asteroids? Well, let's begin by going back over 4 billion years when the newly formed solar system consisted of trillions of tiny little rocky and icy objects. Many of these objects came together to form the planets. The majority of the others were scattered into the distant reaches of our solar system and beyond, but not all of them. Some of them are pristine asteroids that now orbit with Jupiter in 2 huge swarms leading and trailing the planet. They're known as the Trojan asteroids. They're really, really mysterious, and we think that they come from the outer solar system. They're also really special in terms of understanding the evolution of the solar system and understanding the evolution of the planets, because they have remained gravitationally stable for over billions of years. And astronomers have only been able to study these distant and enigmatic small bodies from Earth. But all of that is about to change. NASA's Lucy mission will embark on a 12-year journey to visit these primitive asteroids. And it's going to be really exciting because it'll be the first time that we are able to see these objects up close. So what are the Trojan asteroids? They're asteroids that orbit with Jupiter around the sun that ultimately hold the clues to the formation of our solar system.
And I bet some of you at home have even more questions. That's wonderful. We want them. Please send them in. Just remember to use the hashtag AskNASA or drop those questions in the comment boxes wherever you're watching this show. But I actually have some questions of my own, and that's why I have these two joining me here today. This is Dr. Carly Howitt. She's the Assistant Director of the Department of Space Studies at the Southwest Research Institute. That is a mouthful. Sorry about that. And Will Santiago, Deep Space Exploration Engineer at Lockheed Martin Space. Thank you guys for joining me today.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Absolutely. And now I want to talk about the fact that, NASA has visited asteroids before. We even have a bit of one coming back to Earth as we speak. What's special about Lucy is that Lucy is not just visiting one asteroid, not 2, but a record-breaking 8 asteroids. Carly, can you tell me why that's significant?
Well, we don't know much about Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, and so by going to visit a large number, 8 asteroids in total over the mission lifetime, we'll really better understand all about the asteroids. So if you only see one, maybe you got sort of a bit of a funny one, right? But by seeing 8, you get to really understand what's going on in this population. It's really exciting. We're going to see them up close, understand their color, their composition, try and look for what they might be like inside. We're going to learn so much about the asteroid population as a whole throughout this mission.
Absolutely. And Lucy is interesting because it ties into NASA's overall asteroid research. Can you talk to us about those other projects?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in asteroid science right now in NASA. So, of course, the OSIRIS-REx mission is bringing back a sample of an asteroid. So that's en route. And there's going to be the DART mission, which is going to try and redirect an asteroid. And then Lucy has a sister mission called Psyche that's going to go to the asteroid Psyche, which we think is a remnant of an older asteroid. So it's a metal core. We think previously it might have been a larger planet that had the outsides blown away. And we're going to look at the inside of this asteroid with that mission, and it's just going to be a great few years for asteroid science.
It's really fascinating, and I love that there's so much going on with asteroid research. Now, Will, Lucy is set to launch tomorrow, 5:34 a.m. Eastern Time. Soon after, we're going to see her two very large solar arrays deployed. Why are they so big?
Well, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about breaking records. So Lucy's going to be the record breaker to the Juno spacecraft that's currently orbiting Jupiter, and it's going to go further away on solar power than ever before. The Trojans are very far from the sun. So we have over 7,000 solar cells that give us the energy that we need to run the instruments, run the spacecraft. You know, out there at that distance, we run the spacecraft with about 500 watts. So much less than the power, you know, we could not run a microwave out there.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think to put that really puts it into perspective, right? How far it's going to be from the sun and how much power it actually has to work. Now, you know, those were my questions, but I hear we're getting some really interesting ones from viewers, which is wonderful. Keep them coming. Again, a reminder, use that hashtag #AskNASA or just drop them in the comment box. I promise it'll be Will and Carly answering those questions. I will bring them back later in the show because I know I will not be able to answer all of your questions. In the meantime, what do you say about taking a closer look at the rocket that's going to launch Lucy? Take a look at this video now by my colleague, James Traley.
Just around the corner right now. I just got like a little glimpse of the launch pad. I can see it right here in front of me. Oh, wow. It's right there. Oh, my goodness. All right. We are literally like maybe 300 feet away from the Lucy spacecraft on the Atlas V rocket. From what I understand, I think we're going to be actually taking an elevator up to the top of this launch, or the VIF, the Critical Integration Facility, to see Lucy up close, and we are some of the last people to be seeing Lucy before she blasts off into space. It's a long mission ahead, and yeah, super thrilled to share this moment with you and take you along for the ride. How's it going? So nice to meet you.
It's going good. Good to meet you as well.
Thanks so much for taking us around. This is incredible. This is insane. Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a cool. I mean, this rocket is massive.
Yeah, the scale of it. I mean, 200 feet tall. I'm joined today by Isaac and Danya, and we're standing directly in front of the Lucy spacecraft atop an Atlas V rocket. We were just talking on the way up about the scale of this thing. It's really pretty impressive to just take a step back and appreciate the sheer magnitude and scale of this rocket. So, can you tell us a bit more about the dimensions of this thing and kind of what is all powering Lucy on its journey out to the Trojans?
Yeah, so Lucy's actually right now sitting on our 401 Atlas V configuration, fully stacked to the top of the payload fairing. It's about 190 feet tall. So we have the entire vehicle right now sitting on our mobile launch platform, 1.3 million pound steel structure. We have our Atlas booster, our single engine Centaur, and then the Lucy spacecraft on top of that.
And the Lucy spacecraft, it's not a small spacecraft itself. It's pretty large as well, right?
No, it's not a small spacecraft. It's about the size of a standard car. And so, I want to talk a little bit about the solar arrays.
Yeah, that's
so
what's
with the
interesting.
solar arrays stowed, they're about 4 inches thick. But when they're deployed, they're 7.2 meters in diameter. So if you were to take the spacecraft with the solar arrays deployed and tip it on its side, it'd be as tall as a 4-story building.
This mission for this exact reason, too.
Yes, so Lucy is going to travel 4 billion miles through its journey, its 12 years journey. And it's traveling far from the sun. As a matter of fact, it's going to be the farthest spacecraft traveling on solar power. And so that's why we need massive solar arrays.
And so, I mean, it's a long journey ahead, 12-year-long mission, but there's already been quite a journey on the back end here just to get us prepared. Can you walk us through, I guess, the past, 14 months during the pandemic here? How's it been?
Quite exciting. So we actually started spacecraft integration and testing in July of 2020. Think about it, 14 months to fully integrate the space during a pandemic, testing it through